Italiano is a Ghanaian-Italian filmmaker, producer, writer and activist. Currently based in New York City, I met up with Fred for breakfast at Soho's legendary Bar Italia during his trip to London, a compelling context in which he shares his views on being Black Italian and his latest film, Blaxploitalian.
Blaxploitalian is a film documentary about 100 years of blackness in the Italian cinema, but in the meanwhile is also a social campaign to ask more diversity in the film industry and the television industries. In Italy, after the struggle that we did in the last 4 years for the citizenship and to grant rights of citizenship to many sons of immigrants, now we are moving in a second level, that is the citizenship of the media. So you are not a full citizen if the media don't recognize you. And so for this reason, basically we are trying to tell the story of many people who are made a contribution in Italy and who are not recognized as Italians. Sometimes I was Afro-Italian if I'm speaking about or with people, for example in Brazil or in other places of the world where they use the word sometimes Afro, for example Afro-Brasileiro. But when I'm UK or when I'm US or other part, I prefer to use the word Black Italians. I think that the identity of the young people, not only in Italy but everywhere, it's more complex than the definition Afro. Sometimes also inside the community of African descent in Italy, there are people who are defined or they are called themselves in different ways. For this reason, I think it's very important in the future having also a conversation in Italy about the race ethnicity, also to understand how we can define ourselves or if there are multiple terms to talk about African descent in Italy. Living as a Black Italian when I was born and raised in the 70s was totally different about living right now as a Black Italian. So when I was born and raised, Italy was in a time in which basically there were few African descent in the country, and there was also in a time in which maybe they didn't know how to deal or manage with people that they called people of color sometimes. When you hear this word, you know that many societies are unprepared to have a different relation with different minority or ethnicity groups. Now it's very, I think, difficult for many people who are younger. The society doesn't know how they can deal with people. And so I think that it's becoming very important having in Italy also a conversation about race and ethnicity. My next project, I'm working on a web series called Black Italiano. That is a web project and a multi-platform project about the story of people who came in Italy in the 50s, in the 60s, 70s, who are born right now in Italy and who are African descent. And I will try to tell the story of people also who are based not only in Italy but UK, in US or in other countries. Another ambitious project is connected to the story of James Senese. James Senese is an Afro-Napolitan, 71 years old musician. He was born and raised in Naples. His father was an African-American soldier of World War II, and his mother is Neapolitan. So basically all my projects are connected to develop the stories and stories of identities. More filmmakers, journalists, writers, entertainers who want to share in the future stories with an high impact of diversity. It's very important to develop sometimes also their own stories, and I would like to be engaged also in my life and in my artistic life, to be open to explore much more about also my personal story and to try to find a way to tell my story.